In my final Orlando video, I mentioned about the idea that G4S played a part in that, given that he was an ex-security guard of G4S, and I mentioned that when it comes to these things, private security firms play a part in these drills, these hoaxes. So when you look up this particular event, the Brussels, following the actual attacks was like a seminar to do with crisis management, and you can see that G4S featured. So whilst I'm going to show the clip that blows this whole thing out the water, I will talk about how you can see G4S's effect on that clip plays a part in it. It's not that they're just in the area at the time, they're effectively orchestrating it. So we'll start here. There's a picture I'm going to show you of a guy from G4S, and he stood about here, and in the background is the bridge. Now there's an entrance to Melbeck underground train station there, and there's quite a few entrances to this train station, but for now I'm pointing out the fact that he is stood here at this point. So here he is, and you can see the logo on the front of his jacket. He's wearing a particular type of scarf, he's got a receding hairline, and he's wearing a fairly fitted suit. So these are the things that we need to look at when we're watching the videos and the clips coming up. So whilst I don't know which order the video has been taken in, whether that particular picture came first, then he ran off up to this way, or the other way around, the point I want to make is to the two positions where he's seen in at the time. And you've got to remember that if a private security firm is effectively overseeing this drill, it would make sense as to why he's looking at one particular entrance, not doing anything, he's just hanging around seeing what's going on, and then going to another entrance and hanging around and seeing what's going on. So the clip I'm about to show you has come from this particular position. There's people along the wall, you've got the bus stop there, there's a bus that features in this, so again, did the bus bring the people to this event? I can't say for sure because we don't see anybody getting on and getting off, but the fact that there's a bus there, given that what we've said before, is a bit of a red flag. So here's the G4 fella there, you can see him just at the top there, and he's just looking down watching what's going on. But you're going to see based on the clip that the two people in the centre there, what looks like a policeman and a girl with a cap on backwards, they are walking towards the ambulance crew, and they're going to talk to each other. Everybody's going to start looking around, and everybody's going to realise that this particular person isn't where they're supposed to be, and everybody just runs off. And whilst we're just focusing on the G4S guy for a second, what you're going to see at the start of the clip is that he's actually talking to someone inside the ambulance before getting into the position that you can see here. So it's definitely that guy. So you can tell it's the same guy. I mean, you can see the scarf, the suit, the bald head, and he's getting himself into position standing next to the wall when the camera cuts. Now unfortunately this is where the footage sort of cuts off, but you can see that there's obviously some sort of confusion going on because so many people's attention are drawn in by this one person, and then everybody runs. But the key people with this are the actual girl with the cap and the Chinese fellow with the backpack just in front of the wheelie bin there. Whilst the footage isn't great, you can tell that this is the same location, and they're running across the road, and the reason why they're running across the road is to set up at this location instead. Now a bit like Nice, there's construction work going on at the time of this Google Street Maps, but you can see on the left hand side of the road there's the bus stop, that's where they all were, and on the right, on the opposite side of the road is where they're going to be setting up. And the key things to look out for here is the yellow bus stop, the green bin, and that little sign on there that's for speed bumps. So now that they're all set up, this is the picture that was taken and put in the newspapers. I mean, you've got a guy from G4S looking after a woman who's now bleeding, even though you've seen a clip of her not injured at all. And there's the Chinese fellow with his backpack in the background there, who's also making out as if he's injured because he's wiping himself with something. So whilst this clip alone just shows that crisis actors do exist, and that if this is going on, then the whole event cannot be real. You wouldn't orchestrate a drill during a live event. It just wouldn't happen that way. It's either all real or all fake, and in this case it's all fake. So just to confirm, you can see the yellow bus stop there next to the bin, and then in this particular picture that's cropped in a different way, you can actually see the speed bump sign as well. So we're definitely across the road from where they originally were. So there's that Google Street View, just so you can see what I mean, because it has all three reference points there, including the building itself. So whilst I've been trying to piece this together in some sort of timeline, I've then come across the fact that there's obviously other scenes going on which need to be scrutinised as well. And oddly enough, it's just across the road again, just a bit further down. So this is the next scene. So I'm assuming this is some sort of car park based on the screenshot I'm going to show you. But you can see that in the distance, just further up on the left, that's where they originally started. Then they cross the road where that van is, and they've carried out a scene there, and now they're back across the road, and there's going to be a scene here. So this is it. I mean, we're going to have to scrutinise this particular scene within itself, because there's a lot of anomalies. There's people that aren't injured then become injured, people who are injured then don't become injured, or the woman in the dead centre with the red jacket, she's running around as if she's some sort of superhero, whilst the paramedics are just non-existent. But remember what I said about the manipulation side. If they showed this footage on the news, which they might have done, I can't remember at the time, but it's out there, it's, you know, it's not a hard thing to find. You're going to think this is just one particular scene, and you're not going to realise that they're only meters away from a scene that's happening further up the road, or the one that happened just across the road. So you've got to piece these things together, and if you do, this is what you're going to see instead. So now you've seen it in a particular timeline, it's blindingly obvious that something's not right, because there's nothing now at the top left, even though there was loads of things going on at one point, or across the road, there's nothing there at the minute, whereas this, because of this particular footage, it's all about this one scene. The guy in the blue jacket is effectively observing what's going on, whereas when the scene was set up at the top, the guy in the blue jacket was observing that one. So it is just one big drill, and because they can't flood the area with people, that's why they're moving from one place to another in order to set up a scene, take the photographs and move on, to make it seem as if it's bigger than it actually is. But this goes back to the control element again. They've got to control this scene. That's why there's not that many people on this street, because they will have blocked it off in order just to carry this out. And in reality, if people were piling out of an underground station because of an explosion, this place would absolutely be littered with people. It would be littered with ambulance crews, people would be running about, there'd be just chaos. But because it's a staged drill, it's controlled, it's managed, and that's why it doesn't look like there's much going on. So there we go. So I mean, what more can you say on the subject? You've got people that are controlling the scenes, you've got people overwatching the scenes, and then scenes are disappearing whilst others are being played out at the same time. So if anyone needed proof that these things can be drills and are drills, it's definitely this. So thanks very much for watching. I'll get on to my next one soon.